today's video, I decided to try out a free PDF pattern from the internet. So this is how it looks. It's a short pattern and it's from Patterns by Mood, and the short is called the Piper short. That is how they named it on the website, and it's from size 0 to 30. So no matter what your size is, you can use this PDF pattern. So I'll be going through every single process with you guys, from laying it down, taping it together, cutting and everything, so that if you haven't tried a PDF pattern before, this will guide you, so that once you print yours out, you follow these steps to guide you. So this is the preview of how you should line up your patterns. So it begins from page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, page 6, 7, like that onto page 27. So I'm going to line everything up for you guys to see. You can see that I ended at page 18 now because of the limited space I have now. So I would put these together and then we'll get back to the rest of it. So when you're taping them down, make sure everything is aligned before taping them, else your pattern will be crooked and you wouldn't get a nice result in the end. It looks after everything has been taped together, and this is the belt. So this one says cut 1, unfold, so here, and then you check what size you are. So here, size 8, which is a big stroke and a small stroke. So from the inside, I'm gonna count 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The easiest way to do it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'm going to cut on this line. But for the band, it doesn't really matter. If you really want a long one, you can cut as long as you want. But if you're going to follow the measurement, then if you're size 0, you have to cut on this line, same as the short pattern. So that also you can see here, size 0, size 2, size 4. So I am size 8, which is from the inside 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a big and a smaller stroke. So this is very easy to follow. So what I'm going to do now is to cut along the stroke. That is my size, which is size 8, as I already said. So I will do that, and yeah, we'll move on to the next step. For the pocket is one size, and the pattern comes with allowance and everything already, so there is no need for you to add allowance. The front, you cut 2, and then same as the back, you cut 2. So you can also trace your size out with a tracing paper, so you can maintain this whole pattern, so that in case you have to make one for your sister, your friend, your mom, you don't have to print out everything all over again. You can go back to this pattern several times, but you know, I'm lazy, so I just want to cut it out and just make one for myself. cutting out the first pattern, I noticed that I did cut the wrong size. I'm usually size 8, but then the sizing for this particular pattern is a bit small, so I had to use size 14. Yeah, size 14, which is this one. So I have to keep this one. That is why you have to trace it out, so that in case you make a mistake or in case you have to do it again, you just trace it out again. So I had to print everything all over again and then put them together and then cut out the new one. So to avoid any sizing mistake, you can find the size chart of this pattern on the website, so you can check which one suits your size better. So I chose size 14. My hip is 41, so I fit in size 14 better, and also I wanted a loose fit, so you can check whichever one suits you. So I'll be using this Ankara or African print fabric, and you would need about 1.5 to 2 yards of fabric for this particular short. You have to mark out your notches. So this is to fold in the waistline. So there are 3 notches here and also here as well. You can't really see it on this side. So yeah, and also at the hem, here are the notches to fold in the hem or to make the curve. The hem is curved, so yeah, and same as the back. So you can cut out the notches, mark the notches over there. So once that is done, what I'm going to do next is to, of course, remove the patterns and then use my zigzag stitch or serger, whatever you want to use, but I'm going to use a zigzag stitch to finish all the raw edges, everything, all the raw edges, both front and back. So now that all the raw edges have been finished, what I'm going to do next is to work on the pockets, 2 pockets, and this is the pattern. So on the pattern, you can see that on this side, it's not straight. So you fold this in and you see that it matches the sides. So we'll fold that allowance in here and we'll fold half of an inch on the rest of the side. So this is how big the upper part will be, and then all the other sides will fold in half of an inch. So I'll go to my iron and press it out and then come back to you guys again. So this is how it looks now that it has been ironed. This is how it looks from the inside. So we have to fix this to the back of the shorts, but before that I'm going to stitch very close to this fold here. So I'm going to stitch on top of it very close to the end over here. So I'll do that first, then after that we will place it at the back pattern or the back of the short. So when you go back to the pattern, the back side of the short, you would see that it indicates where you have to put the pocket. So Is the pocket, this is how it should be. So you have to mark that on your fabric as well. This is how it's looking after it has been stitched. It looks flat and nice. That is why you have to align it properly before stitching it down. So now that the pocket has been fixed, it's time to put the pieces together. So put two of the back pieces together, right side facing, and stitch around the crotch area over there to the waistline, and then repeat the same process for the front pieces as well. And once you're done stitching that part, snip the curvy areas as usual to ease that part out. And now put the front piece on the back piece, and then pin the crotch area, the downside, together, aligning the seams, and then pin them up. Repeat the same process for the side seams as well. Pin everything down to make sure that they are aligned. Once that is done, go to your machine and stitch wherever you've pinned. Let me know in the comment section if you want to see more videos or more sewing tutorials with a free PDF pattern. It's now time to work on the waistline, and so what you're going to do is to fold the waistline on the second notch. So that is why you have to remember to mark your notches. So fold it on the second notch and then pin it to the seam. Make sure the seams are aligning. So there's going to be an elastic band at the waist, so that is why we are folding the waist that big, and also we have to get the paper bag effect. So once you're done pinning, this is how it should look, and we'll stitch right in the middle. When you divide the size of the fold into two, you sew in the middle, and then afterwards you sew very close to the end, and then leave a little space to enable you to put in the elastic band. So it's time to insert the elastic band, and I did cut an elastic band which is very comfortable around my waist, and I will insert it with the help of a safety pin. So once I'll stitch the ends together, and close the gap you left. So this is how the short is looking already. It's looking nice. So now I'm going to work on the belt. So I would stitch two ends together like that. If you did cut yours on fold, then there is no need to stitch that end. So what I'm going to do now is to go to the other end, put them together, and make a diagonal and cut a diagonal line or something over there. You would see it like that to give you that bow effect after stitching it at the end. So from there, stitch it, and then whilst you're stitching, leave a gap in between so that you'd be able to turn it inside out. So now trim the corners, and then from the gap you left, use your loop turner or safety pin or bobby pin, whatever you're comfortable with, and turn your belt inside out. And there we go. Now stitch the gap that you left opened, and the waist belt is done. You just have to iron it flat, and that will be it. It's now time to fold in the hem, and if you remember to mark your notches, then good for you. It's because that is what you're going to use to indicate where the fold would be. So fold along your notches twice, but if you want a more shorter look, you can even fold one more time. So now I folded it twice, and then I'll repeat the same process on the other hem as well, and then move to my iron and press it flat. You can actually iron an interfacing around the cuff area to make it a bit more firm, but I didn't do that. You can also fold in one more time for a shorter look like that. So this is how it looks when it's much shorter. I think I will go in for this look, but yeah, at the moment I'm going to show you what to do to your cuff once you folded it in. So at the side seam and the in leg seam, and then in the middle, you can use your sewing machine to actually stitch it down. You can also hand stitch it, which I am doing now. So you make an invisible hand stitch just to tag the cuff down so that it doesn't fall when you when you wear it or when you're walking actually. So I'm hand stitching everywhere that I think would keep the cuff in place. So this is how it looks now, and you can see that the cuff is not falling off, and yeah, our short is almost done. And I did a second stitch on the pocket, so if you want that look, you can do that for your pocket as well. So here is the belt, and guys, I'm really excited that I tried this free PDF pattern. So yeah, as I already said, I'll put the link in the description box so that if you also want to make this for yourself, you can just print it out and follow this process. So yeah, I will try this on and show you guys how it looks like. Thank you for watching.